So hello and welcome to this new video series. As you can see, we're outdoors today and we're doing something rather unusual. We're going to be helping renovate this 1950s Caravan, and we're going to be putting in the electrics for this. Now in the past, electrics were attempted to be put in, but it's all gas in there. There's gas lighting which is going to have to be converted over to electric, so we'll be doing that later on. But for now, what we're doing is we're going to be putting in a lot of off-grid power, mains capability if we're on site somewhere, and we're also going to be doing potentially solar panels, but not yet. That's going to be an option later down the line. So come on inside and I'll show you around. Wow, it's a long way up those steps. So here we are inside this 1950s Caravan. It's an Eccles Caravan if anyone's interested, by the way. It's all been stripped down to the bare boards and everything else. But probably out behind me in the shop, you might be able to see it, these are all the gas lights that are all going to be changed over to electric. Behind the camera there's another three, but I'll show you those in a second. The Caravan's not going to be used to be living in. It's going to be used to be serving food at events and things like this. So we're not worried about sort of having electrics for living in here. That's not really what this is about. Now, after a lot of research, and I'll go through this later on in another part of the video, trying to work out what we need in here. But basically what we've plumped for is there's going to be a 230 volt fridge and a 1.8 kilowatt twin induction hob which they can plug in. That's going to be absolutely fine. And the lights will be all 12 volt, so there'll be 12 volt power and 230 volt power in here. So down below the camera is going to be where all the clever stuff is going. So I will get onto my mobile phone and I'll give you a whiz what's going on around here. So here are the gas lights. The gas lights at the end, which you can see there, there and there. They're all being converted over to 12 volt electric. All the battery, all the power stuff is going in there, and the mains hookup will be in that corner. This 18mm ply I've all cut to shape, and that all fits because I've just done a test fit. There's a support beam that runs across there. It's currently sitting there. Luckily it's all screwed in, so I can actually just get that back in and replace it, so that's easy. Now over here they are going to have a propane powered urn. It just wasn't going to work for electric. It's the only propane thing that's going to be working in here, and the propane cylinder is going to be at this end of the Caravan, well away from the electrics at the far end. The fridge that I mentioned, the 230 volt fridge, is going here. Now, as we've worked out when we did the measurements, this is actually too narrow, so we're going to have to do something clever with that. And then sitting on top will be as I said, a 1.6 kilowatt induction twin hob, not 1.8 as I said earlier on, it's 1.6. So we're going to try and find some 1950s fronted double sockets on here. They have to be double pole in a Caravan. So I'm going to see what I can do with that. What I might do is I might adapt the sort of thing you see for cookers. We have this a switch spur and a plug, and then there'll be a single plug below here. Sorry, not a single plug below here. It'll be wired directly to the fridge down there, as you would do in a kitchen. So that's what we're thinking of doing there for that. I think that'll be a good way of doing it. Client has stipulated that the inside of here has got to try and keep it as 1950s as possible. So no modern grid switches, no modern light switches, as much as possible. I might have to trawl eBay for some old 1950s style sockets. However, we'll see what we can do with that. As you can see, there is the remains of the original wiring that someone tried to do. And if you look carefully, there is actually a small conduit there which I could potentially reuse to run the electrics in for the lights and along here. So that'll be handy. But obviously we're going to have the main electrical stuff in here. This is going to be sorry, I didn't explain. This area here and this area here, these are going to be sofas. So they'll be completely covered, they'll be out of sight. And what we're going to probably do is cut a vent in the floor to keep whatever's in here cool, and also if there are any vapours from the batteries, they've got an escape route to go down. Vapours and batteries are actually heavier than air, so they can go down through the floor. So I'll probably do that and cut a hole in the floor and put some sort of venting system in there just to keep it cool. But anyway, but you'll see all that back at base about how we're doing with that. But I want to show you underneath the Caravan something I discovered. You probably won't be able to see this. Oh yeah, here you go. There you go. You see those? Whoever's tried to run the cables has actually run. There you go. That's better. It has run the cables underneath the Caravan. So there is a cable run. Nothing in the regulations say you can't do that. Probably that's maybe not the best way of doing it. I might actually put it in conduit to do it, to protect the cables properly from the elements. But there's nothing to stop me from actually using that and coming from the back of the Caravan to the front for the lights. I won't need to do that for the 230 volt power. This will be 12 volt coming through here, so I suppose I don't have to put it in conduit. It will look neat and tidy. So that is what we're up to. So a lot of work to do. A lot of it's going to be off-site, and then I'll be bringing it into the Caravan. That's what I'm going to be working on, and you'll see exactly what goes on with that back at base, another part of the video. So that's where we are. So I'm going to be taking this great lump of wood back that you've just seen, back to base, and we're going to get started on the electrics. And we'll see you again soon.